ụlọ nsọ gị Chukwu ka anyị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka anyị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ụmụ eliwayi kọta n'otu, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ka anyị jikọọ ofe ya ofufe Gọdian, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Gọdianism bụ ịhụnanya n'udo, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Butere anyị ụzọ kpetara anyị azụ, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ise ya gazie.
Ndewonu. Otito niile dịrị Chineke. All blessing and glory be to Chineke, the Most High, divine mind, and as we say in Igbo Nigerian language, onye na-echere nwa ogbenye, onye na-ezi nwa ogbenye, onye kpuru ìsì ụzọ, onye na-enye nwa ogbenye nri, guides the blind and feeds the poor, the energy within that guides our activities on a daily basis. To Chineke glory, and here we are. Thank you for all of you who are still breathing in and inhaling and exhaling and expressing the goodness of Chineke. Welcome to Chiism Live. I'm Okedibia, Dr. Wonyo Husimere. I'm the spiritual head of the Global Faith Ministries of Chi, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome you again to our session. My Dibia Yudi Onyoha is not with us today for good reason. He is finished graduation requirements for his degree as a software engineer at Georgia Tech University. Congratulations, Dibia Ochwaja. We are very proud of you. Akotoriaka, akotoriaka, wherever you are, please applaud him. It was not easy. You see, he did not accept defeat in any way. He did not accept age in any way. He says, look, I am ready to do it. And then there's this African proverb that says, it is our morning. So when he woke up, he decided that he wanted to pursue this degree, and by George, he got it. He's now an alumni of Georgia Tech University. Yes, indeed. We are so very, very proud of him. Today, we have an exciting. Before we get started, I would like to welcome some wonderful people who have joined us as well. Nos Ferratu, thank you. Yes, indeed, wonderful for him. Ukuna Charles, welcome. And Matt Lewis, I welcome you. We're going to have a guest this morning. We're waiting for her to log in, but until that happens, we are going to begin this program. Topic of discussion today is Chi and Eke. And it's the male and female energy which are part in our blessings, our well-being. In African spirituality, we acknowledge this partnership between Chi and Eke. We understand that we can't just deal with one energy. We have to deal with both. And our ancestors understood that. And because of it, the creator is named Chi and Eke. Chi, the masculine, Eke, the feminine energy. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to sharing all this wonderful information today with you. But before we get started, before we do anything, it is imperative that we do what we customarily do, and that is to present you with the chalk. You know, the last time that I presented this, I reminded you to get a wooden contraption. You don't have to go to Africa to get it. You can go to the store and pick up a wooden contraption. As a matter of fact, if you go to an African store, they have Nzu. Nzu is koalin, very significant in our spirituality, because when it's presented to you and you smell it on your body, that means that you are welcome into that space. And when it's not presented to you, you're not welcome without me arguing with you, without me telling you to leave. The fact that it's presented to you means you are welcome, and then you become my responsibility. So today I'm going to ask you, if you haven't done that already, if you're a chiist or want to be a chiist, that's one of the things you must have in your home. You must have this contraption. You must, not this particular one. This is called Okwa in Igbo language. Okwa. You may not have it, but you can get a wooden contraption, and if you go to an African store, you get the chalk, you grind it, and then you put it in your contraption. And when people come to your home, use that to welcome them. You use that to say, hello, you're welcome. You're now a part of me. We love the fact that you are here. So I'm going to ask you to do so. Okay. Traditionally, before we start talking about anything, we have to pour libations. I am going to, some of you have already seen this video, but I am going to first and foremost play the video of libations by my very dear friend, Queen Mother Oshundara, who's now on her journey to greater heights. But she, just 2 weeks before she passed away, she was supposed to be on this show, couldn't be here. She couldn't log in because she was in California and she was at a conference or something. So, but she was able to send this to me. I was so very grateful that she sent this libations. So in remembrance of her, and it's so important to remember that we cheers. This is an umbrella under which all of us can come, despite your differences, that we can come together and worship or give us to the Creator in whatever name you have, in whatever tradition you have. That is the umbrella of Chiism. So I am going to, at this time, have libations poured by Queen Mother Shundara. Only she didn't pour it, but she aired it, she voiced it, and it's just powerful. After which, I will present the libations in Igbo tradition. Let me remind you, wherever you are right now, as we pour libations, get quiet. We are calling upon Chineke and we are calling upon the ancestors. So it's imperative that we find a space. Wherever you are, stop. Get quiet. Sit on a chair, get on the floor, stand up, hold up your hands facing up so that the blessings will flow through you, through your palm. Wherever you are, God is. Let her words, let her voice, let her devotion and dedication to our culture permeate into your soul, and you embrace it and you practice it. Because who you are is who Chineke made you to be. Queen Mother Oshundara and libations.
Many times in Africa, West Africa, they use cola. They say, he who brings cola brings long life. So we want to honor our great spirits, our great ancestors. The sky take cola, we say Ashe. The mountains take cola, we say Ashe. The rivers take cola, we say Ashe. The ancestors and our great mother, Asesi Pa, known as many times Iya, a Mother Earth, take cola, we say Ashe. When you use cola, it's very important. In our traditions, many of the ancestors, they use, in Ghana, they use what is called snaps. They use the alcohol because it was only done to call on the spirits. That's why it's called spirits. Iba Orisha, Ashe o, Iba ancestors, Ashe, Modupeo, 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 Insa, Insa, Insa. We know that there are so many of our ancestors. There were millions. We know that this institution is our place of giving honor to those who have paid their dues. I call on the spirit of Empress Tanakatula, who was the empress of this land in which we now stand. Empress Tanakatula, we say Ashe. Empress here, Augustus Elbe, Ashe. To the Honorable Noble Drew Ali, we say Ashe. We say Ashe. To the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the father of African liberation, we say Ashe. We say Ashe to Marcus Messiah Garvey Jr., who just recently became an ancestor to Marcus Messiah Garvey Jr. We say Ashe. We say Ashe to Empress, or sometimes they say Queen Khalifa, who was the queen of this land, which we call a Mexum, all the way to Venezuela, California. We say Ashe. We call upon the spirit and the blessings of Tutagmosis, Ashe. We call upon Pharaoh Akhenaten and Ashe. To all those great ones, Queen Nefertiti, Queen Nefertari, We call upon the spirit and the blessings of our royal prince, Malcolm X, Malik El Shabazz. We say Ashe. We call upon the spirit of Nana Kwame Atta. We say Ashe. We know that this is the ancient land of our ancestors, which is West Amexem, which has been here for over 5,000 years BC. We know that millions of our ancestors, we're standing on the bosom of them. So please participate. Call out the ancestors. Call out the ancestors. Ashe. 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 King Suniata Keite. Ashe. 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 We know, as I said to you before, it would take 7 days and then some to call out all the names of all of our ancestors. To all of those whose names we have not spoken today, may they not be offended, because we know when we look in the mirror, we will see the ancestors. We know each time and every time a new birth is taking place in our community, that our ancestors are coming back through the unborn children. May our children and our children's children's children long live their spirits. So to those whose names we have not spoken, to those of whom we have not forgotten, may all their spirits come. May we all give honor to all of those great spirits whose names we have not called. We say, Ashe! Ashe! Ashe!
Ashe, as Queen Mother Oshundara would say. In Igbo language, we say Ise, and that means whatever we ask for, may we get it 5 times over. Thank you. Thank you, Queen Mother. From the spirit world, you have visited us today. Next week, I will pour the libations, but today I wanted to honor Queen Mother because some of our guests are familiar with her. They know her. And she was dear to them as she was dear to us. Greet you in the name of Chi and Ike, in keeping with the masculine energy of Chi. We ask for strength and we asked for power. And conversely, in keeping with the feminine energy of Ike, we ask for love, understanding, and perseverance. These energies make us whole and complete. We ask for psychological and emotional release today, and we acknowledge the power of spiritual activity within us, the spiritual activity of Chi and Ike in us today. Our obedience is not to man. Let me say that again in case you didn't hear me the first time. Our obedience is not to man. Today we surrender to the spiritual principles within each one of us, which evolves into an experience of peace and well-being. Today we engage in the act of acceptance. The act of acceptance of who we are. Today we are giving to the ancestors our commitment to accepting who we are And we ask him to move anything and all things in our path that will test our will and our character and our faith. We accept us as men. We accept us as women. We accept our culture. We accept our humanity. Today we are going to request that the ancestors put their loving arms behind us, around us, in front of us, behind us, above us, below us, and cover us with their guidance. Today, our will, wherever you are, your will today, when you walk through the door, it will be tested. It will be tested. Today, your faith will be tested. It will be tested based on what other people do and what you allow to bring into your space. What you are is what you embrace. There is an African proverb, a spiritual proverb that says, it's not easy for you to say, but I'll repeat it. Let nothing but the beauty, the joy, the goodness of Chineke flow through me, and everything else find its way out. I embrace only the good. I will embrace all the blessings of the universe that Chineke gives me today. Today, we ask Chineke to remove the forces and temptations which cause us to question who we are, question why we're here, question our value to humanity, question our skin color, question the size of our nose, question our mouth, question everything that makes us what Chineke wants us to be. Today, you will be tested. Today, you must answer that you are okay with it. It's nobody's fault. It is nobody's fault but yourself, what you believe and what you accept. You can't complain about what other people are doing. That's why I say, don't tell me about your spirituality. You show me. When you allow people to define you, when you allow people to tell you're not good enough, you're not big enough, you're not small enough, you're not short enough, you're not fat enough, you're not thin enough, it becomes your problem, not theirs. Believe in the spirituality, belief system, and principles that are primordial to us as a people. I'm not here to criticize other people's faith. Your faith is your faith, whatever works for you. But what works for us is our primordial faith, what our ancestors left for us. We're going to ask, as we move through this thing called life, we're going to ask for transformation and change within the form and structure that are not in the nature of our being. Anything that changes us from what we are, we ask them. Today we ask Chineke to shift our consciousness to result in the release, ladies and gentlemen, of any false ideas and beliefs of who we are. I harp on that. Because we walk around, some of us walk around thinking we're not good enough because somebody said we're not, because we read something that said we're not. So we go in the mirror and we start changing our form. We bleach our skin. We do surgeries to thin our noses, to thin our lips, to restrict our buttocks, whatever, because we don't like, or somebody says our form is not good enough. Our truth is the aspect of Chineke that is absolute and encompassing. Our truth is the foundation of who we are. Our truth, and only our truth, can guide us to where Chineke is. Because if you don't understand that the truth of Chineke is that we are powerful beings beyond measure, and I want to speak to my sisters today. We are powerful beyond measures. We are life. We give life. So when you cower, when you diminish yourself and demean yourself and belittle yourself because somebody said, the ancestors are saying, Ibuonye, whose child are you? Who do you reflect? And don't spend time belittling other people. Because if you have to belittle others to bring yourself up, you don't know who you are. You don't know that Chineke is in them too. The very people that you are ridiculing, Chineke is in them too. Chi, the male energy. Eke, not male, feminine. Feminine energy is Eke. Masculine energy is Chi. All those energies are within us. Focus on bringing them to light. Don't focus on trying to convince somebody to be like you. The healing starts with you. The healing starts within us. Until we heal ourselves, until we understand that that power is already there and we can use it to better ourselves, and not focus on trying to put people down, or not focus on trying to claim that we are a superior being to other people, then let me tell you something, you are lost. Our ancestors never spent time hating. It's a learned behavior that we got from somebody, and we need to let it go. We need to find pride in ourselves and allow other people to be prideful too. It's okay. That's how Chineke made them. Your space is if they get in your space now, all bets are off. Survival of the fittest. Only when you get in your space and try to take your humanity away, do you find yourself in a position that you're going to have to do something. But until somebody does that to you, let them be. Focus on you. Focus on that power, that energy that's in you. Don't waste your time trying to tell Joe Blue to be like you. He wasn't made to be like you. If he was, he will be you. So that is my message this morning before we get into the discussion today. The masculine and feminine energies of Chineke. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce my guest speaker today, Denise Avery Muhammad. Denise, how are you?
I am blessed.
I love the blue on your head. Good to have you here. Good to have you.
Thank you.
How are you? You're blessed?
And highly favored.
Yes, and highly favored. I have Tina Hutchins, who has joined us. I would like to add her to the mix. Hello,
Good
Tina.
morning. I'm fine. How are you? Good morning. Hey, Auntie.
Listen how gorgeous. The purple, the blue, the red. Okay, we're done. We're all set.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is so beautiful. But right now, thank you for joining us. And right now, I'm going to go to Denise. Denise, feminine energy. Feminine energy. What does that mean to you?
Feminine energy means to me that we are the co-creators of this planet, that we are self-conscious aware females, and that we are the true source of all power. As feminine energy, it's like we co-create with the universe. And I was so moved with your opening statement this morning, because the course that I teach, Feminasophy, teaches women that we are the true source of all power. And that men are force and women are power.
Yes.
And force revolves around power. And it takes that force to move the power forward. So we originated force. And so feminine energy is when a woman is walking in her self-aware self and moving from a reality where all things are possible. And we're moving in integrity, which is what I loved when you opened up, that we must begin to define who we are as women. We are righteous. We have integrity. We walk with love and peace and compassion. And we're moving in a lot of masculine energy that is taking a lot of the feminine energy over to the masculine side. And I want to thank you today, sis, because you gave me the original meaning to feminosophy in the sense of the masculine and feminine energy, which is Chineke. Is that how we're pronouncing that?
That's correct, yes.
Chineke. And we know that everything originated out of Africa. So all truth is being revealed. And so truth is coming back to us. And I will begin to use that because it is the masculine and the feminine energy that we all have inside of ourselves. You know,
that's right.
When God created himself, he looked inside of himself and saw another creature and he brought her out. And all religious books bear witness to each other, because we have the scripture where we have God creating man, male and female. He created them out of the same essence. When you read the Quran, it bear witness to the same thing. So truth is aligning on the planet. And for those of us who are moving with a self-aware consciousness, this truth will pour down into us. Yes. Because as females, we have several wombs, my sister. We have a womb that's in the middle of our third eye, and we have that womb that brings forth physical man. But in the unreality, we can bring forth our reality through our thoughts, through our actions, and through our deeds. Because everything that we think goes and manifests, and it brings it back into our reality. So as women, we really, really have to be walking more with the feminine energy, which is the compassion, the love, the peace, the harmony. And once the sisterhood of women move on that vibrational level, then we move from that vibrational level to the vibrational level of knowing that we are the true source of all power. Then that reality will begin to bring that change about that you spoke of.
Yeah, yes, and one of the things that people, the men and women, have to understand, thank you so much for what you just shared. The important thing is that we need to understand that those energies for you to be a balanced person, you have to have both energies in equal balance. We need the masculine energy, all right? We need the power. We need that. A woman who doesn't express that is docile. Yes. You see, when they lack that male chi presence, okay, or at least don't embrace it, okay, at least if you acknowledge that it's okay as a woman to be powerful, it's okay as a woman to look. If you have to step up, you have to step up. Absolutely. You don't have to sit back and cower and wait for somebody to protect you. So that's that power of Chideke. That's the chi in you. It's okay. And if you have more of the feminine and you don't have any of the male, that's why you become docile. We need both. A man who has just the male essence, right? The masculine energy and no feminine energy, no penchant for showing emotions or giving love and all of that. That's not balanced either. The person becomes too aggressive and nobody wants to be around all that foolishness. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to be balanced. We need to know spiritually that we must be balanced. And I cry out for my sisters today. Stop thinking that the creator is a man.
Absolutely. But you know,
Stop
that
saying
was
the creator is your father. Go ahead.
You know, that's one of the things which is the primary fundamental teachings of feminosophy. And the greatest trick that was done to us, my sister, was through the religious dominance, where we were taught that we came out of the rib of man. And so a lot of our sisters who are indoctrinated with religion, especially out of the Christian church, believes that we came out of the rib of Adam, which puts us in a subservient mindset. And so we look at all of the different religions in Islam, Christianity, and even in some Buddha, where women walk behind their men. Men always feel they need to dictate to us and think for us. But the beautiful thing, my sister, is the Divine Mother is back on the planet. She's pouring down this truth within us, because those of us who are moving from an intuitive self, which is the spirituality that you talk about. You know we have spirituality and then we have religion. Religion is the practice of your spirituality. But when you are connected to that divine mind, which connects you to the Shinike, the male and female energy, the wisdom will pour down within you and you will move from a more conscious point of view. So when women began to redefine ourselves and understand that we did not come out of the rib of man, but that we were created in the same essence. And a lot of us,
yes,
we have it, but we're not aware that we're moving in the masculine and feminine energy, because we look at our young sisters that they're moving with such masculine energy and they're deadening the feminine energy. But sister, right. we have to talk about the fundamental reason why we see our sisters moving in this masculine energy. And in my organization, we called it wounded women. Women all over the planet has been wounded. We have been prostituted. We have been trafficking. We have been molested. We have been beaten. And all of that has brought the Black American woman through the experience of slavery. And so when you are wounded, you lost that essence, that feminine energy, that essence, because you're moving in that trauma. You're moving in that wound, that trauma that happened to you. So it's hard for women who have had that type of experience. And so they're moving outside of that feminine energy because it's been kind of, it's like any trauma, it takes you out of yourself.
Yes.
So a lot of the young women that we're looking at have been wounded when we go into the history of Black women, how we have been enslaved, raped, mutilated. We have cultures where men are free to murder their women if they decide to have sexual energy. But I think one of the things that you spoke about earlier when you said, as women, we must begin to walk with integrity and we must begin to come back to our virtues.
Yes.
We must begin to guide and uncover our wounds, because our wounds were not made for the pleasure of man.
Thank you. Say it again.
Our wounds were not made for the pleasure of man, but they were made to generate mankind, to bring forth mankind, to bring forth the gods. Because
That's
only a God can come through the womb of a woman. And so
say it again.
to understand the true nature of why we have this womb. But what a lot of our sisters don't understand, this womb is what connects us to that divine mind. That's why this womb is what connects us to that source. When you have that intuitive nature awakened in you, you move from that point of view. That will guide you. It will lead you. But you have to come back. Women, we must come back to connecting to our higher selves. We must come back to connecting to the divine mind so that we can be led properly.
Thank you. And you know what? I say this to all humankind, male or female. Understand that it is not against any gender when one gender is powerful.
Absolutely.
If we're powerful together, I say this all the time. When you talk about a one-legged man cannot go into battle.
Absolutely.
Against a two-legged man. You know what I'm saying? You must absolutely have both legs. You can only go into battle with both legs. And what we're doing when we don't see the spirit of Chineke in our sisters, when we tell sisters they can't do this, one of the things that really bothers me in the field of religion is all these limitations placed on women.
Absolutely.
All the limitations in African culture, not all African culture. I mean, there are some individuals. A woman can't pour libations. A woman can't do this. A woman can't do that. Well, a woman gave birth to you. How dare you? How dare you, sir? If you were birthed by a woman, and she can't pour water on the floor. Can we talk here? It is her connection to the Most High that brought you. The first libations is when you came out of her womb.
Absolutely.
That's the first libation that she poured to bring you forth. Now you tell her she can't pick up a glass and pour libations. Oh, okay, let me calm down, because I do get upset with that.
I feel it.
I get so annoyed with that kind of ignorance, and that's what it is. It's ignorance of fact. Because if you go into our history, if you go into African history, women were the priests, the priestesses.
Absolutely.
They put libations, all of that. Go ahead.
But I have a question. You understand karma and universal law, right?
Yeah.
So we know there was a time when women ruled. So now we, the Sisterhood of Women, must ask ourselves, what karma did we do to the point where we are producing rapists, murderers, and male chauvinist men out of our wombs? What did we do? Because we're producing everything on this planet. And everything on this planet was taught by a female. So women, we have to begin to look into ourselves and go back to being that originator, because I shared with you that when a woman gives birth to a man, she gives birth to a nation.
That's right.
If she gives birth to a daughter, she gives birth to herself. That makes us an originator. So what are we producing out of our womb, sis, that our children are toxic? We, majority of women, are moving from a toxic energy because they think it's okay, because they lowered their standards to feel like, oh, I'm free, so I can lay with any foul bird into this most sacred.
Oh, say it again. Say it again.
Okay? You cannot allow any foul bird into your sacred place.
Yes.
But that's where women have to come back and begin the healing process within us to understand that we are righteous women. Our wombs were not made for the pleasure of men, which was taught to us under the greatest trick that we came out of the rib of man. So when you think that we came out of the rib of man, you look to man, physical man, as your God. You look to the physical man as your Lord and Savior, when you should be looking to the Creator, because you are the co-creator. So we must begin to redefine ourselves and educate ourselves in understanding who we are and whom's we are. We do not belong to man, but we belong to God. And we must walk accordingly. We must walk with integrity. We must walk with righteousness. We must begin to pour down the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that comes from us to our children, to our husbands, to the planet. Time is dictating it, sis. We don't have any more time for women to be foolish right now.
We don't. And it's not just the women need to know this. That's the thing. I was invited to a church, and I didn't last 10 minutes. I couldn't take it. I just could not take it. And it's not because the people there are not good people. That's not the point. I couldn't take the misinformation.
Absolutely.
Just 10 minutes I was there. Happy for me to come. That's my friend. I never say no to other people's spirituality. The only time that I get offended is if you attack mine and say mine is not good enough. But I will come to your church. I will come and worship with you, because I believe we are praising the same Creator. Different name, different culture, but the same spirit. But when I see you speaking to women in a way, this is what the pastor was saying. And I looked at that audience, at what these women were embracing, and what the male child was being taught. You have to honor your husband. As a matter of fact, they were talking about they were going to break into groups to discuss how you honor your husband, how you make him happy, how you cook for him. I said, what is he, an invalid? What am I having a workshop to do all this stuff for him? Can he do it for himself? They were going to see how to make him happy, not how they can make the Creator happy, not how they can make each other happy, not how they can make humanity happy, but how to serve man. Look, I have no problems with us loving our men. I love men, honey.
Absolutely.
Yes, I do. I'm married.
Absolutely.
Okay? That is not the point. But I don't want my husband to tell me I'm less than he is. I'm blessed with a man who knows to do his laundry, cook his food, make his bed. That's a man. A man that sits around and waits for me to do everything for him, that's not a man, that's a child. So if you have 3 kids, counting me, you got 4. It is when you think a woman is here to serve you, not serve her children, not serve the Creator and serve you, but just to serve you, you have an issue. You don't understand the male and female essence of the Creator. You have just one aspect of it, and you are letting only one aspect of it come to light. You're suppressing the feminine side. You know, I watched a show, and I'll bring in Tina for a moment. I watched a show where the little boy, he couldn't be more than 8. He was playing with a bunch of boys, and a little girl came in wanting to play with them. He said to that, they said to this little boy, this particular 8-year-old said, and the rest of them followed, "We don't need no girls here. You're just a girl." Just hear what I'm saying. The word just.
Absolutely.
Just the meaning. And the rest of the boys say, "Yeah, get away, go away. You're not a girl." I said, that's because she's 8 years old. Let's see what happens when she turns 16, 17, 18, 19. Y'all wouldn't have that opinion. But while they are young, they're being raised to think girls are inferior.
Yes.
And then when they get older, they're taught that the women are their play toys.
Absolutely.
And then when they get married, they see the woman as their servant to bear their children and serve them. Everything they were able to do before they met this woman, now they can't do. Now it's her job to do everything. You see what I'm saying? So it's a conditioning that you find in church. I've been to, there are some churches that are just absolutely marvelous, okay? But still, they still have that foundational principle that a woman is less than.
And I think this is our greatest work. I think we are the women in this time that have to move forward to begin to change this way of thinking. We have to begin to our little sisters and re-educate them. And for women who are raising boys, you have to re-educate your son as to who and what this woman is. She's not your maid. She's not, I mean, the scripture says, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. In Islam, Allah, the greatest creature is the woman. He talks about lifting up the female. And so the work that we have to do now is to mobilize women. And we must begin to educate our women that we have to stop this foolishness because it's about not being alone. So we find women, they get along to be alone. I mean, they get along so that they can have a husband or a boyfriend. So they submit themselves over to a man who don't even qualify to be their partner. Because if we're co-creators, it takes a God walk with us, not just any man.
That's
when
right.
you understand who you are, your male partner has to be one who knows who he is.
Yes. Yes.
And so the work that we have to do, sis, is to re-educate women first, because we're the first teachers. And once we come together, we can begin to re-educate our men.
That's right. That's right.
I have to say this and then I'm going to yield. There's a movie out here, and I refer to it all the time, and it's called Chirac. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't.
the theme was about Chicago and all of the gangs. And, of course, our young men are dying in the streets because of this male chauvinist mindset out here thinking, they're the man. So they're killing each other. But the women in this movie decided to come together because they got tired of burying their sons and their men. And so one of the elders went to one of the young ladies and said, do some study. And she made her study the women in Africa and the apartheid of how women really ruled Africa. So she ended up forming with all of the gang members, and these were rivals, but they came together. And that's what we have to do. The women through the different gangs came together and they decided that they were going to use our precious gift that we give our men is our bodies, and they shut it down. And they made change when they stopped giving men their bodies and then start making men deal with their minds.
That's right.
They changed the whole scenario of the relationship, and the men put the guns down and war stopped. So when women mobilize together under one common cause, which is to save our planet and our children, we can make change.
He say. I hear you, sister. Woo, okay. Well, let me bring in Tina. Tina. You know she's taking it all together.
I'm loving this conversation.
Yes, ma'am. I'm telling you, it is. What are your thoughts? Share with us.
So I want to go back to Auntie Denise when she talked about karma. What have we done that we're dealing with these situations? Well, what karma we're getting is that we've hurt each other.
Absolutely.
We're not one. We're hurting each other. We're taking from each other. So our karma is what we are bringing forth now. And when those women see their kids and they're saying, I don't know what happened. What happened was you.
Absolutely.
They came from you. You birthed them. You taught them. They only know what you have given them.
Yes.
So don't all of a sudden say, I don't know what happened. You do know what happened. You need to take account of it and move forward with it and teach them a little bit better. It might be too late for some, but there are still others that can get that teaching. So that karma part, that resonated so big. Because we hurt each other so much.
Yes.
That and this.
Okay, she's having challenges. I'll bring her back in.
And she's absolutely right, because we are the administrators in our household. A woman does all things, with a doctor, with a nurse, with a teacher, with the accountant, and our children watch us. And so men are benefiting from the division that our sisterhood have, because men are moving in this low vibrational energy. And so when you find women who have high vibrational energies, we walk with a certain standard. So we teach our children that standard, how to respect both male and female. And so because we have women whose vibrational levels are low, they'll jump with any relationship. They'll take your man. They'll compete with you. But men are benefiting from this energy. And so time is dictating, sis, for women to come together like we're doing now, raising this vibrational energy and understanding that we are the true source of all power.
Yes.
Re-educating ourselves, one, that we did not come out of the rib of man, but that we were created with the same essence. And so we have our sister back.
Okay. Yes, Tina, come up. Finish your thoughts. Go ahead.
That was that one thing about that, but I want to thank you in regards to Chineke. I didn't know how you were going to explain the chi inside of us. So when you said it's us being our powerful selves, because my mind automatically, when you said chi, went to being like, that masculine, that and I didn't know where to take it. But for you to break it down and say it's us owning and being our own powerful selves and being that beacon of light, that's not just a docile person, not someone that's just sitting to the side and waiting for things to happen, but we're out there producing, we're out there moving and shaking. That made me smile.
That's it. That's it. Right there. You get that. I'm glad you got that.
It's an amazing thing. Like I and Auntie Denise is teaching me so much, because even the Eke, I am a very feminine.
Eke. There you go. Okay.
I think I know I have the chi, and I know I move in my chi, but I have more of those Eke qualities, that I am very, very much feminine. I am very, very soft at sometimes, that I even have to shake myself to say, hey, we more than this. But that's where we all have to catch ourselves and say, I'm more than this.
Yes.
There's not enough of us that's saying, like, wait a minute, let me take a step back. Let me look into myself and let me bring out something more. I have more. I have more to give.
Yes.
And I learned that from being broken. Like Auntie Denise talks about a lot of, when you're broken, you automatically come out fighting. That's like putting a cat in a corner. They're coming out fighting. That's when you learn you. That's when you learn your power. That's when, instead of going inside, let's go outside. Let's push. And that chi comes out, and Lord knows it moves things, Lord.
When you acknowledge your chi, and that's why I say, when I see women who are being told you're less than, you're this, if you want fight, my fighting words is, don't ever open your mouth and say to me, you're just a woman. That's when chi comes out. I say it again. Say that again. I may be walking in my AK any minute, but when you say that, then I will remind you that I have that in me. I have that in me. What I'm going to do now, you guys, what a beautiful service. What a beautiful service. I mean, the church, because of COVID, we're not able to congregate, but thank God for Zoom, right? Thank God for Zoom. We can still come together. I just want some of the things that the audience is saying. I just want some of you to comment on that. There's Charles Wokedi. This is his comment. He says, you see, doctor, most of these teachings in the churches may have psychological effect on them. That means the women. The Bible teaches women that they are weaker vessels, and most women agree with the teaching and are now helpless. Somebody want to comment on that?
I'll comment, because I studied all religion, and there's a place for it, but it has to be balanced.
Right.
Because out of each religion, I took what I needed.
Yes.
And so in the Christian church, when you come out of that, it gives you a sense of grounding where your faith is being developed, and you come from a sense of belief to a sense of knowing. When I studied Islam, I came in with this masculine energy because I was a single mother. I was providing for myself. But I went back among the sisterhood of women, and I allowed myself to be humble enough to be led by a woman. And one of the problems that we have is women will not be led by another woman. And so we know that the religion is a tool to work against women, because when we see pastors, we see the God in them.
Yes.
It's not the man. We see the God in them that women tend to worship.
Yes.
And so, and they throw this down our backs, because if we are allowed to move without restriction,
yes,
we would have been taken over.
Yes.
We would be ruling the planet.
Yes.
And so one thing that I've learned in studying all of these religions, which is my mantra, I don't need permission to perform.
Right.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Say it again. That's right.
I don't need permission to perform. When a man is telling me, I'll say, I don't need your permission to perform, because I am connected to the higher
That's right.
source. which is
Yes.
whom you're supposed to serve.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for that. And then I'll have this Nosferatu says, we create life. We are far from less than. Tina?
She's absolutely right. But the thing is, like, we go back to the whole church part of it. We're taught that. And I can remember as a child that I am the middle child. So my sister, me, and then my brother. My brother is the youngest. But my brother, because he was male and my mom did not know any better, always held him at a higher accord than the girls. Like, so when you come from something like that, you feel that that's how things are supposed to be. But I've never thought inside of a box. So I've never felt that I was less than anyone. Actually, I might have had struggles getting there, but I know that I'm never less than. And when you finally, because I hate when people say you are a product of your environment. No, you're not. What you are a product of what you become.
That's right.
You take those instances that may have been bad or broken, and you move forward. You move past it. Just know that you are better than, you're greater than, you deserve more. That's when things change. So I hate when people say the environment, or it just does something to me, because my environment was not good as a child, but I always say I will never. And if you keep that, then that makes you bigger and better than what you came from. And that also helps you with that whole I'm less than. No, I'm definitely not less than, and we are not less than.
And you know, in psychology, it certainly uses that, you know, to make excuse. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a psychologist.
It is.
You know, it's to make excuse, all right, for some of the things that we engage in. Yes, your environment has a role to play in who you are or where you started, but you still have the responsibility to move beyond. If your environment is very positive and you turn out to be a positive person, then that's a good thing. But if your environment is negative, you can come out of that. You know, it's like when you walk out the door and you close the door, you know, you keep stepping. You don't stay in the door and peek out and say, well, this is my environment, I can't get out of this. No, you can get out of it. So thank you for that comment.
Can I make a comment on the sister's comment? Can I comment on, I think I know where she's coming from when she says, we created life. We are far from less than. I think what she's looking at again is our sisterhood. When we look at where our women are conducting themselves, because we all know that we have righteousness in us. We all know that we are the true source of all power. And when we look at our young women today in terms of how they're conducting themselves, we are far from where we should be. We are far from moving in that sense of power and walking as queens and walking with integrity. And so
that's right.
And so again, I think one of the things that we have to do, and I'm speaking to young women today, is to go back and begin to listen to the elders, because the young women don't want to hear this experience and truth and wisdom that we've gained. But young girls they're rejecting the mother wisdom, because I look at these young girls and I try to talk to them, you know, and let them know, sweetheart, you're greater than this. Let me mother you. Look at me as an example. Look at other women so that you can see something else other than the booty pants, you know, what man is saying you are. You're not that. You're not a sexual being, and your value is not only in your sexuality. Your value is in your wisdom and your integrity.
That's right.
Our young women are confused. So I think what she's saying is we are far less than being the co-creator in this present state that we're in as women.
Absolutely. Thank you for that response. And then this is an interesting one. This is from Nwoke Charles. And he says, many men will run mad if there was no woman on earth. For me, it would have been void and empty and lonely. True.
And that's what women don't understand. See, we've been so lied to that we don't understand who we are and what role we play in their life. Because remember, according to the way King James had it, we came out of the rib of man, right? Which we know is a lie. But when Allah created male and female, he put in man greatness, and only the feminine energy can bring it out. We can look into our men and see the greatness. Where did we get that knowledge from?
That's right.
How can you look at your man and say, wow, he got talent? And then we start working on that man and making him successful.
And in African spirituality and culture, that's one of the things that's so missing now, because we have embraced these foreign religions and way of life. And you always take the good. You don't throw the baby out of the with the dirty bathwater. If there's something you can get out of it, you do. There are things that we can get out of every religion, but one of the things that bothers me, is how we have made women to think that a man created you.
Absolutely.
You came out of a man's rib. There's nothing wrong with a man. They're handsome beings, but I couldn't possibly have come out of your ribs. Then why am I birthing you now? Absolutely. Why would you believe that? But you're the one giving birth.
Right.
At some point, you're going to have to open your mind and your eyes and see when you're being lied to. The intention, I don't see where the intention was ever positive on this one.
The intention was to deaden us from being who we are, because we're not who we are.
That's what I'm saying. This is a challenge I have for every woman out there who has a boyfriend or has a husband. Don't wait till he goes to sleep. Tell him to take his shirt off so you can count his ribs. If anything is missing, that's where we come in. Otherwise, he came from you. Oh, and while you're at it, check and see if he has a navel. Okay, because if he has a navel, he was connected to somebody's placenta, his mama. Okay, so common sense, people. You cannot be that devoid of common sense. It's not a put down of men. It's an education of men and women. Right. If you don't know this, then you should know it. It is time to grow. In Africa, when you were a child, right, you were told what to do. We were told what to eat. But at some point you grow up. And when you grow up, now you have to determine what to eat, what to listen to, you now become your own educator. Right. If you're not able to do that, right, then you can't blame people for throwing crap at you. Because they will do it. The most powerful tool in the hands of an oppressor is the mind of the oppressed.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, sometimes we don't realize we are the oppressors. We want to blame somebody for our oppression. Right. To some degree, there are some people to blame to some degree. But if you believe in lies and you hold on to those lies and you hate your brother or your sister out because of that lie, you are the oppressor. You're oppressing yourself. Let me admit to you, ladies and gentlemen, chocolate is my worst oppressor. So a place, a person can be an oppressor, but you yourself could be an oppressor. So here's one that I think we should all comment on. Politicians are teaching that as well. That means politicians are teaching that we are less than. There was a politician today, because of what Texas has done with the abortion law, he has the audacity to call us hosts.
Absolutely.
Women are hosts. What do you do about the host? Like we're nothing. We're just hosting babies. The life of the mother is not important. She's a host. Sisters, I don't care where we are. We don't have to live in Texas. Wherever we are, this is not acceptable. This is absolutely not acceptable. It cannot stand. You cannot tell a woman, you want to control a woman's ability to make a decision about her body.
Right.
But you don't want to wear a mask. That's too much for you to do. You can control. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But what are your thoughts on that? This abortion thing. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Who can tell me what I can do with my body? And then they don't even think about if someone gets raped or something like that, am I to hold on to that child because I'm now pregnant? Like, how fair is that? Like, it's
How
so
about
much.
incest?
That too. That too.
Incest? Your father gets you pregnant, you have to have his baby.
No.
What is that?
Absolutely not. But see, they don't think that far into it until it's one of theirs.
Until it's one of theirs.
And that's when it's like, oh no, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. But you put that practice into play to hurt somebody else. But it comes home to roots, baby. It always comes home to roots.
Yes, it does.
So that's one thing. And then when she said politicians are teaching that as well, we also are conditioned here in America that women are less than, that we can't even hold the highest. You can't become president. And other women are on that board too, because we won't even vote for a woman.
No, we don't.
Because we've been taught that they can't lead. Oh, they're too emotional. They can't do this. They can't do that. Those emotions can heal all this war we got going on.
Yes.
We think beyond the right here, right now. Let's get this quick and over and done with. I think about what Biden just did by me being ex-military.
Okay.
The thing with him just all of a sudden just moving people up out of Afghanistan. He didn't think that through. You know how many lives that are over there? If you were going to do something, do it undercover and move accordingly. As a woman, and listen to what he did, I had a whole plan planned out in my head that would have worked. But that's because we are emotional, but we think about the complete outcome and not just the right here, right now. It is that whole macho mentality, like,
yes,
I gotta be this, I gotta be that, instead of like just stopping and thinking. And that's what women do. That's what we bring to the table. That we
could bring to the table, sister. We could. We're not yet. We're not doing
exactly.
That is what is needed now. We need to stop thinking we can't do it. We have it. As a matter of fact, you have situations where a woman can do things, positive things, and not get respected for it, not get honored for it, not get recognized for it. And sometimes you just give up, but we can't give up anymore.
Right.
We don't have that luxury. You know, if we are going to honor Chineke, if we're going to honor both energies, that we can't give up when we know that we have a responsibility to take action.
Right.
We have a responsibility to take action. We cannot continue to say, well, you know, I'm a woman, I can't do. I've seen movies where it's actually encouraged that the woman is weak. Have you seen those movies?
It's a lot of them. It is a lot of them.
I'm screaming at her, get up, woman, get up. She trips and she falls. And
all the time. All the time.
And here comes her savior. I said, let her sit there and let that lion get to her. Let that snake get to her. If she can't get up and run, let her stay there. But it's even in the movies, they are conditioned that they should not bring out the chi in them.
Right.
Just the same. And I'm not saying that the feminine energy is weakness. No, it's not. It is that essential part of our being that calms us. You understand? When you were up there, when the male energy is too high and you're too aggressive, the female energy, it brings you down a little bit. Calms you, brings comfort, brings joy. But a K cannot, that aspect of your being cannot overrule the chi either. you still have to have a time that you're going to have to, what is it, a flight or fight?
Exactly.
You're going to have to, and that's what I was just saying earlier, when the woman will fall on the floor. Oh, oh my God, that is so irritating. I just turn it off, because it's propagating something that is not helpful to women. And unfortunately, many women accept that. And once we've accepted that, we've got a problem.
Right.
Okay. So this person says, doctor, you're funny. So you're saying that women should tell their men to remove their clothes for rib counting? This is serious. And if none is missing, then there is a problem. That's exactly what I'm saying. Okay. And you better check your own ribs while you're at it. See, if you're missing a rib, you better go find that sister that you created. Okay, don't tell me you don't have a wife, because you created one. She's out there somewhere. Go find her. If you can't find that, that means that's a lie. And it's time that we grew up. Yeah, I know he's trying to be funny, but that's
I know.
Here's one. You want to respond to this one? Men tell us that we are too emotional to be president. Yet these wars were started by men.
And that's exactly what I was just speaking on. And like I said, I can really speak on it because I am ex-military. And the thing is, yeah, they say we're emotional, but we think things through. And sometimes it's that machismo. Yeah, I gotta go do this. I gotta go do that. Like, no, calm down, assess the situation, and bring a woman into the room to let her hear this whole thing. Like, we need to be more in those positions where we are a partner into getting things done.
Yes.
A lot of women but then it goes back to us being in unity, because we are sometimes the ones that are stopping each other from being in those positions, because they can't see beyond the here and now. Yes. You can't see a woman in that position because you never saw it. Just because you haven't seen it does not mean it can't be done.
Yes.
And that's the problem that we're having, that we need to look and see beyond the right here, right now.
That's right.
And the unity is where it's gonna happen. If we're not united as one and teaching our girls about being in those type of positions, it's not about just being a doctor, lawyer, whatever. Dream higher. Get into those positions, because you know what we can do. You know what we bring to the table. Think bigger than just that right here, right now.
That's right. No one succeeds alone without the help of the other. That's just okay. That's right.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no two ways about that. We need each other. We absolutely need each other. But I cannot support you if you demean me. If you do not respect the K in me, all right, then it's difficult for me to respect the chi in you. I want to respect both. Both is you have to honor that feminine energy as well in you as a male. You see what I'm saying? You have to be willing to honor that and see that in women. When you see a woman who is when you know a woman is maybe docile or maybe just too gentle, have the decency to help her bring out the chi in her.
Exactly.
Don't subvert the chi in her and just keep her where you are at an advantage. And she is, and then for you as well, it's dangerous for you as a male to just let your, the chi, overwhelm the K. You have to have that balance. It has to be 50-50. It's kind of difficult to find a human being at that 50-50, but that's when you really have a noble soul, right? That kind of balance. And while we're at it, nature itself is balanced. Nature is male, female. Yeah, there are all these energies in nature. Nature can teach us how to balance. There are things in nature that you cannot have without the other. You can't have air, right? The air is necessary, but where does the oxygen come from? Where does it come from?
Right.
The trees, so the earth needs water. The grass needs water. In African spirituality, earth is female. Allah is female. the rivers are male. The oceans are male. The rivers are female. There's a balance. Everything is balanced. And human beings need to see ourselves like that as well, and balance our energies and not subvert anyone.
Right.
We're going to read two more, and that will end our show today. Women, this is from Matt Lewis, Women, Source of Life. Well, that goes without saying. That's right, Matt. That's right. Thank you for acknowledging that. This says that the female energy of God is loving, the forgiving side of God. The female energy of God is kind and understands our weakness. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think all of this goes to show, if I may end this program today, that we already know what the issues are. We just don't address it. We already know who we are. We just don't bring it to fore, right? Before. So today, the whole idea of this program was to remind you that you have two energies working for you: the chi, the male energy, and the K, the female energy. Okay, and you need to be willing and prepared to embrace both. Not one is more important. Men are no more important than women are more important than men. But the only thing is that we have to acknowledge the importance of women when it comes to building and giving life. Okay, that is important. That's not something to look down. How many of you know that this whole concept of Adam eating an apple, right? But he ate that. He knew he wasn't supposed to eat that apple, but he ate it. And have you seen children fighting? And here comes mama. Mama said, "Who did this?" And one child said, "He did." And blames. This is the situation with that apple. I used to hate apples. I eat it now because it's healthy. But I mean, just the fact that a man ate an apple, and because of it, we are cursed. And what is that curse? Giving birth. That doesn't even make sense. How will the Creator curse you by giving you the power to bring forth life? How is that a curse exactly? How is that a curse? That's power.
That is.
That's the ultimate power. So we got to start asking questions. This is 2021. At some point, you're going to have to come to the, what I say, coming to the future, coming to the present, and be real.
Can I give you a metaphysical definition of what that apple means?
Well, yes, please do. Go ahead.
Okay. In the book of Genesis, we were given a diet. And remember, if you look at the male and female that was created in the garden, they were both gods.
Yes.
And this is one of the things that I'm glad we're back at this subject, because this is where, as females, when we talk about that karma and how you must know yourself first.
Yes.
So when the woman is introduced in the book of Genesis, she's being introduced in the garden talking with Satan. And we know serpents don't talk. So we know that was a conversation that she was having with herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because with women, we can be very deceptive. It's called, deceptive intelligence. And so here you find the woman, she was given the order just like Adam was given the order. But in the book of Genesis, they was given a diet. So you have this woman now that is being disobedient to the God within herself, because God told her, as well as Adam, do not eat this. The apple represents flesh. And we're going to get real, because these are adults on this video. The apple represents the flesh. And there is nothing clean about a woman's body when she's releasing the impurities. So now women have lowered their standards and have used their wombs to do unclean things that are pleasurable for men. So you have the woman giving this apple, but this woman is a god. Giving the apple to Adam represents the oral sex part of sexuality. That's why it's a flesh, the apple. And most women are engaging in this. And for me, it's ignorant for a woman to do that, because that's a part where a woman's body releases all the impurities. But because we are so acceptable to anything that is being thrown to us by man, we're falling down on this standard of being righteous. So now you have this woman in the garden that's dealing with herself, because God told her to. Now she is a god, just like Adam is a god. But we have egos. Women need to look at the egos within ourselves. And that's part of what caused us to fall. Because we were given the instruction. And why would you lead your man down a road when God has put us together as helpmeets? We're here to help our men meet their divine purpose. Everything is within the female can take our children and our men to higher heights. There's an unspoken wisdom that we have as women, which comes through the womb and the connection. So here you have Eve in the garden disobeying the Creator. And she's dealing with her deceptive selves, because she's already talking to herself and talking herself out of being unrighteous. Serpents can't talk. So she was in her mind, disobeying what God told her to do. Metaphysically, when you look at that, it's all about the conduct you're portraying, the choices you're making. So it put a light on the feminine energy, which is what I teach in my class. Women, we must stop being deceptive to ourselves. We know what we're doing when we're pushing our men down certain roads, because we have the power. We control everything. You know, we're the one to set the tone whether who's going to get with each other or not, right? Even though men think they're leading that, we already know. We saw you first before you saw us, right? Let's be real. Right? Don't we choose who we going to be with, even though they come at us?
Yeah.
We make that final decision.
Yeah.
So women, and this is why I love this program, because it's really about empowering women. And the only way we can empower ourselves is by being truthful. So here you have Eve in the garden disobeying the order that God gave her, because a man is going to follow us. Once we know we're the true source of all power and we take ownership back, they will follow us, because we have the wisdom to guide them. So that's why Adam followed her, because men automatically know the women is within us. So when you look at that metaphysically, it has a different meaning.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Everything has its own interpretation, obviously. Yeah. It's not interpreted like that in the Bible. Right. But if you look at it, you know, you can interpret it in a way that it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. But the way it is, it doesn't make sense the way they have it. You know, so what women are thinking, I've read it numerous times, and I'm trying to understand, why are you blaming the woman for eating an apple when you know for you eating an apple you knew you had no business eating? You know,
that's the trick of the devil.
I mean, well, they ascribe it to the devil and, you know, all that sort of thing. So, but we are responsible for our own actions. Absolutely. And that is what we emphasize. You are responsible for your own action. And we as women, if I may take a little bit from what you said, we women are responsible for making sure that our men are intelligent, okay? Absolutely. As they are responsible for making sure that we are as well. You see what I'm saying? It's a reciprocal thing, but it is imperative that we as African women at this point stop buying stories unless we can explain it, unless it's and if we see something that doesn't make sense, then demand explanation. Don't buy the nonsense that it may look like. It may look like it's nonsense, and we buy the nonsense, and we don't ask questions. It's not explained to us in any way. You see what I'm saying? And we go along with it. So the way that is explained in the Bible, if you go and read it, right? Explaining it metaphysically like you did is totally different. It's not a negative thing. It's a good thing, you know, for you to have a way to explain to women what that means, because the way it stands in the Bible, it's difficult to embrace. You see what I'm saying? But so we need to be sophisticated enough to ask questions, or at least find the right interpretation that we can use to let our women know, no, you better than this. Okay.
Absolutely.
Listen, Denise, you are one powerhouse. What a joy it is to have you on this show. Tina, you guys made my day today. I told you, don't lose your number, because don't lose my number, because I will be calling. It was a wonderful show today. It was important that what is said here today. I love your wisdom, Denise. I love your wisdom, Tina. You guys are enriching lives. Lafeminati. What a beautiful program you're running. That is absolutely wonderful. I'd like to know more. And Tina, I think I'll be on a show with you tomorrow. I mean, Tina, you have the financial literacy program, I believe, that you said that are you having it tomorrow?
We have one tonight, and then we have Tuesday.
Okay, it will be Tuesday. I'll attend the one on Tuesday. Just send me the link, because I think that's powerful. Denise, when you're having one of your classes, please let me know. I would love to sit in. I think you're a beautiful spirit. You have so much knowledge. You have so much to share. And all of you in the audience, thank you for staying with us with an hour and a half today. And I am so looking forward to next Sunday. Listen, Denise and Tina, you are welcome to join us any Sunday that you want to be a part of it.
I told you I'm here. Whatever you got going on, I'm here.
All right.
I'm here.
Just expect that link. Denise, I don't know what your time allows you to do. Both of you are most welcome to join us anytime and continue to share your wisdom. There's so much for us to learn from you. And
thank you for giving us the opportunity to even come forward to begin to re-educate women. You know, you're in your true source of power. And one thing that I get from you, you're showing everybody you don't need permission to perform.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, my dear. I sure appreciate you. Let me remind you all, please continue to follow us on Chiism on YouTube. Please, I ask you to subscribe. Chiism Live. Subscribe Chiism Live on YouTube. I need to see 3 subscriptions today. I need to see 3 additional subscriptions today. And that's how we build African programs. You know, if we don't support it, you know, it dies. But everybody else gets theirs built, and then we have ours on the ground. So please go there and subscribe, and continue to support the conversation on Chiism Live on Facebook. And please go to AfricanCalendar.org. We have a lot of books and calendars about African history there. Visit that page. And last but not least, visit Chiism.org. Remember, it has a hyphen, Chiism.org. It's a lot of information about us. As a matter of fact, what we just did today will be on the page today. So thank you. I love you all.
Thank you.
I ask for the best for you today, and I hope to see you next week. You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, I will teach you. Kemesia. I think I said that yesterday. Kemesia. Kemesia.
Kemesia.
Kemesia.
Kemesia.
Yeah, Kemesia. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.